Shalom Aleichem, good Erev Shabbos to everyone. It's Erev Shivasa B'Tammuz, Parshas Balak. Yes, my friends, we had an individual Balak, we had an individual Bilam, and they wanted to concoct a plan to destroy us, God forbid, the Jewish people. God didn't let, Hashem didn't let. In every generation there's a Balak and there's a Bilam, and Hashem stands up. We need to be part of it. You know, the President of the United States is currently in Eretz Yisrael, and they're talking about Iran, and they're talking about peace, and they're talking about missiles, and they're talking about this and that, the Iron Throne. It's all nice, it's all important, but we must remember it's all from Hashem. So, what can we do sitting wherever we are in our little shtetele, in a little shtibele, in a little heiskele, in a little home, whether you're in the Catskills in a bungalow, whether you're out in Colorado's, enjoying the mountains there, wherever you are, what can we do? And I'll tell you what we can do. We can do to see the Yad Hashem, the hand of God. Let me tell you a story. It happened this week. So I have a class that I give online 4 times a week to middle-aged to older Balabatim who were part of a kollel that I made in 2019 in Bet Shemesh, Ramat Bet Shemesh in Eretz Yisrael. And we still learn, and we've been learning Chassidus, in particular the Rebbe's Chassidus and the previous Rebbe's Chassidus. And it's much more than just a shir. It's really a chevra. It's a real great a holy group therapy session. We tell stories and we evoke feelings and we discuss issues that are relevant to us and our families and our community. And it's something, by the way, that I really encourage you. It's only a half an hour, 7:45 to 8:15 in America, and figure out the time wherever else you are. We have about 8 to 10 people daily, and it's really Baruch Hashem. So it was Yud Beis Tammuz. I wasn't feeling that well, so I couldn't give the shir that day. But in Yud Gimel Tammuz, I felt a little better, and I said, let's have the shir. And we had the shir, but it wasn't the shir we're learning now, the Kuntish Yonshal Teres Chassidus and the essence of Chassidus of the Rebbe. I said, let's fabring a little bit. Yud Gimel Tammuz, it's the day of the Yom HaGeula of the previous Rebbe. So I started by saying, rather than me, usually I'm fabringing, I'd like to hear from you. You fabring a little bit, and then I'll add a little bit. So one fellow shared with a fabringa that they had in the Chabad Shul in Ramat Bet Shemesh with Rabbi Mendel Groner, Rosh Yeshiva. One of the Chabad Yeshivas was the guest, and he shared some nice things from Rabbi Mendel said, Rabbi Mendel Groner said, which was great. And then someone else, I asked him to, if he had any, he lives in another area there. I asked if he had any fabringa. He says, no, he didn't go to fabringa. And I was surprised because he's the type to go and to really enjoy. And he said, I'll tell you, I had to be somewhere. And I took the train, and I was going to Ramat Bet Shemesh, wherever I was, and instead I took the wrong train, he was in Herzelia. He went to visit his mother, and instead of taking the train back to Ramat Bet Shemesh, he took the train to Ber Sheva. Luckily, it was an express train, so it took him pretty much a half an hour. Otherwise, on the way back, it was a local, it took him 2 hours. In other words, on a normal train, he would have been 2 hours out of from where he was supposed to go because he took the wrong train. So I was saying to myself, wow. And that's why he didn't make it to a Fabrengen. But he says, let me tell you something. He tells all of us, I and the conductor Fabreng together. I said, oh, really? He says, yeah. So what happened is when he got on the train and he realized that he's going to Ber Sheva instead of Bet Shemesh from Herzelia. So he spoke to the conductor, if there's any way that he said, no, this is an express train and we go straight there, so there's no stop. Sorry, buddy. But the conductor really took a liking to him, and as the train was going, he came over, he sat down next to my student, and my student shared with him his life story, and if I bring with him. Aboy say, there's no mistakes intend on going to to Ramat Bet Shemesh, and all of a sudden you realize when you're on the train already, it's already pulled out of the station and going towards Ber Sheva, there's a reason why, and the reason is he needed to fabrang with the conductor, and what will be, who knows? It's not our cheshbon, it's not our account, it's not our concern. What did he do? He made the best of so-called mistake. There's no mistakes. The fact that there was a Bullock and a Bilam and there's an Iran and there's all kinds of chaos and mishigas and worries and anxiety, Hashem, God is behind it, and God knows it's for our betterment. What do we need to do, and what can we do? We need to make the best of it, spiritualize the experience. And this ties in with our theme of history, the history of the Jewish people and the history of the Hasidic nation, the Hasidic Baal Shem Tov students and students of students, and today we could say who has not been touched by Hasidism, was all experienced. Its zenith peak experience was the Yud Beis Tammuz Yud Gimel experience. Why? If the previous Rebbe's life would have not been spared in 1927 when he was sentenced to death, we wouldn't be here as Chassidim, because the Rebbe would have never came to America, and the little Chabad Lubavitch, the few people that would have been there would have been just like most other groups, nothing with nothing. It's only because God saved the soul and the body of the previous Lubavitch Rebbe, Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak. And he came to America later in 1940, miraculously being saved a second time from the Nazis, Yimach Shema. And then our Rebbe came in 1941, also being saved. And together with a staff and Hasidim, and they took a germ, they took a little nothing, and they made of it a beautiful flower. It blossomed. And today we all benefit. Is there a Jew that doesn't benefit from Chabad? Wherever he or she is, there's a Chabad house, there's a shul, there's a minyan, there's a storefront, there's a restaurant, there's a friendship circle, there's services, there's opportunities. Historically, the Jewish people were in corners, dark corners, and times were tough, but we made the best of it, and we took the negative and we transformed it. We went like this. We say in Yiddish, mit dem groben finger, with the thick finger, thick thumb. The thick thumb, which is thick and thummy, becomes godly. L'chaim to everyone. Have a great Shabbos.